Hello, everyone. My name is Marc Rand, and I'm the managing partner at Community Capital Advisors. The following video is the third of three that I recorded with Susan Farrar, the Chief Operating Officer and Chief Financial Officer for Community Foundation Santa Cruz County. This video describes how the foundation can grow its portfolio by connecting with donor-advised funds and offers some sage advice for foundations considering launching a fund. Check out the other videos with Susan for more information on where the funding came from, how to manage a fund, and how to grow your fund. Also, visit communitycapitaladvisors.us for more great interviews with industry leaders in impact investing. Enjoy.
One second, I just want to be really clear about like, where did the money come from? Because when I talk with foundations, they're like, okay, well, where's this all going to come from? This is a great idea, but like, how is this going to happen? So would you just kind of walk through that portfolio again?
Yeah, sure. So we, with our socially responsible investment pool, and at the time, I think it was probably only about 10 million strong, our committee decided that, that was one, and this would be the finance committee rather than the impact investing. The impact investing was coming up with all the logistics on underwriting all those good things, and, what we wanted the parameters of the portfolio, the impact investment portfolio to be. But the finance committee is the one who said, hey, yeah, this could be really considered sort of a fixed income because it's got interest rates attached to it. I had to engage our investment consultant because he's the one who's really charged with the responsibility of managing the performance on our investments, and this was cutting into that. So we engaged him in the conversation. I think he sort of saw it as a fixed income piece as well, but given the risk factors involved and whatnot, we did decide to consider it part of the alternative investment allocation of the pool. So initially it was about 10% of that pool. It kind of went up to, well, maybe to 15%, and it's probably been 4 years ago now that the committee said we want the AI component of both our long-term pools to be 20%, and of the SRI pool, we want that, the goal is to have it fully deployed with local investments and with this impact investing portfolio.
And we're working on that now.
Yes, we are. And there's still quite a bit there. The other thing is, and the term came up from one committee member about wanting to keep some dry powder for opportunities that arise. And the fact that we also have this revolving loan portfolio and are considering other ways of supporting donors' interests, we do have the dry powder, and trying to be judicious about how that is deployed. So I think they always want to keep that to meet the needs of the community.
Well, so now we talked a little bit about like how it started, and we talked a little bit about some of the investments that the foundation has made. Where do you see this going? And I kind of point to donors, because DAFs are really, in most cases for community foundations, that's really where the dough is, right? So where do you see this headed, Sue?
I do see another type of a pool that is not a revolving loan pool, but that or the pool or fund itself might be, but that donors have an opportunity to say, oh, sure, I'll put a part of my portfolio into that. And I've seen that model. I think it's a great model. We currently do not allow donors to go 50% in long-term, 50% in short duration, or anything like that. We're in the midst of changing our database, so we're kind of putting a pin on it, making any of those modifications. But I do see setting up some sort of donor-driven, donor-advised pool. That's one piece that I see.
We'll get you there.
Yeah, no, I believe that'll be happening, because I think there's a really solid structure there. Other than that, I think our lending may get beyond loans. We've had some interest at one point. We had interest in us guaranteeing a loan. It didn't happen in the end. It was like, well, why are we doing this? And in this particular example, there was actually a committee member for the organization who said, well, I'll just loan you guys. If the bank won't give you the money, I'll just do it. So but we explored it. We had a conversation about it. Do we want to get into guaranteeing loans? We don't think we do. We don't think we, at this moment, now that's not to say it wouldn't happen, but at the moment, we sort of thought we don't want to tie up capital by guaranteeing. It felt like it's not giving us the impact that we would want. But there could be some, partnerships set up. There could be some private investing. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. But I think that would be where it would be expanding. Otherwise, at the moment, we've got our loan templates and we can deploy fairly quickly. And so we'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
And what about for foundations, smaller foundations, and now you guys have reached that $100 million mark. So again, congrats on that. But for some of the smaller community foundations or folks new to this space, what words of advice do you have for them?
Oh, I think get your structure in place, because the conversations come up once it's apparent that you are doing this. Word gets out, and you're going to be asked very quickly for lots of investment opportunities. And so you need to have your structure in place and that you are comfortable with as the finance person in the organization, but also that you've got the support of your finance committee folks or whoever is looking at your investments, your board, certainly the leadership of the organization. You've got to have that in place, and that was invaluable. We strayed from it, and there was a lot of lingo in there about these are guidelines, these are rails on the program, but our goal is to have the impact and meet need in the community. So that's really important to have that structure in place, because I would expect it could go sideways really quickly without the structure. So
yeah, and I think it's get that structure in place, get clear on where the money is coming from, get the structure in place, get ahead of these conversations, because these conversations are happening in your community. Whether you know it or not, right? So
that's right.
You don't want to be flat-footed. So get ahead of the curve on this. And hate to use that expression right now, but okay. And then any other thoughts on impact investing or community foundations? Any other thoughts on something like that that you wanted to share with other folks?
The other thing that happens for us being a community foundation, and our mission is Santa Cruz County, a geographic area, and our part of our farming community can kind of blend into others, and that's okay too. But we are limited on that. So our scope is pretty clear in terms of where we're going to make these investments. The opportunities are all over the place. And I've had even other community foundations who consider their geographic area or their base or their donor interest to be much broader. And I've been approached by that, but we haven't done that. So I think that's really important, is to keep it clear on what the parameters are in terms of the space you will invest in. I think CDFIs are a great way to get started because they're fairly tried and true. I mean, there's a lot of good ones out there, and you can feel more secure about that rather than going into the wild, wild west on your own. And there are resources. Look for the resources. Get the resources to be sure that you've got the structure in place that accommodates it all.
Yeah, that's great. And last question. So you've gone from a little bit of like feeling a little nervous to where would you say the foundation is now, or you personally on this topic?
Well, change in CEO made a difference for us in that she is extremely externally focused, and she is out there having conversations, and the fact that there was that change period for us, she was doing a lot of listening with organizations and donor base and just everyday individuals and nonprofits and hearing the needs. So she's out there doing that. She'll come back to me and say, here's what we're looking at. I'm glad because I still do have a lot on my plate beyond just this program. It's really important for me to have a consultant like Community Capital Advisors to be able to rely on, to just call up and ask the smallest question possible, or really like, whoa, this one looks a little dicey. Tell me how to navigate this. Help me navigate it. Also having attorney, we haven't needed her in a while because we've got a pretty good template right now. But I know that she's there, and that's
nice to have.
For sure. And then I guess my only other piece is how quickly sometimes things need to move, and wanting to be sure that we've got a nimble enough finance committee group. Our impact investment and finance kind of blend together, but finance makes a lot of the ultimate recommendations to the board, but having them be nimble enough to pull them together for, whoa, we need to have a call on this one. Is this one we should pursue before we go down the line and spend a lot of time on it? So they're pretty aware when it's just a concept, when the due diligence is happening, and then by the time they're called to vote on it, hopefully everybody's really comfortable.
Yeah, that's great. All right, so I know you're super busy. Thanks so much for your time today. Be well. And shall we go in for an elbow bump?
Yeah, there you go. Boom.
Elbow bump. Boom. All right, be well. I'll talk to you later.
Mark.
And and stay safe and all of that.
You got it. Bye-bye.
Bye.